Welcome one, welcome all. This is the Three Bells broadcast, podcast, all cast. We're saying happy Elimination Chamber week to everyone. For today, we're going to discuss what happened yesterday, what happened just now tonight, and what's about to happen tomorrow, along with some news clips, along with some birthday shout outs, and along with some predictions and so much more. We have a jam-packed, action-packed show. But of course, I can't do this alone. It's me, y'all. It's me, your homie Shane O'Mac, coming to you live from the East New York, Brooklyn section of the Three Bells table. And also joining is the man himself, Mr. AKA Mr. Mundo, AKA Daz. What's going on, Mundo?
I said, yeah. You know, channeling my inner Stephen A. Smith, as always. What's going on, Shane O'Mac? What's going on, Triple J? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mundo, AKA Mr. AKA himself. I'm feeling good. Let's get it going, y'all.
Cool. And speaking of cool, joining Mundo is the cool guy himself, too cool for school, our historian, our Google.com guy in terms of wrestling. It's him. Look, it's Triple J. What's good, Jay?
Yeah, it's your boy Triple J now in your city stereo. Let's get it. Peace out to everybody and love. Let's have a great night, fellas.
Indeed. It's action-packed. Where's that button? Where's those bells? Let us begin. 3 bells. Woo-wee. 3 days of wrestling that we have to talk about tonight. And all a celebration of this PLE, the Elimination Chamber, which is taking place in Perth, Australia. Time now is 10:21. Right now in Australia, it's 11:21 a.m. They're literally on the other side of the planet, everyone. But let's talk about this all of a sudden press event that they had yesterday, last night, 11 p.m. our time here in New York. We had Michael Cole there, Corey Graves was there, Gray Waller was there, Triple H was there, of course, Seth Rollins was there, in celebrating his 271st day as champion. KO was there, Randy was there, Logan Paul was there, Bianca Belair was there, Becky was there, Tifa Time, she was there. Basically, everyone that is going to be in Elimination Chamber was there to drop by and say hi and talk some smack. It's a little teaser, almost like a prep rally. But the thing that caught my attention the most the whole night was not even from a superstar, it was from what Michael Cole said when he explained the structure, the Elimination Chamber structure, and how it got to Perth. Let me explain to you what he said. He said the structure took over a month to get there. Originally, it was supposed to be shipped through the Suez Canal, that's in Egypt, but there were pirates. Yes, there are actually pirates that made sure that this didn't happen. So instead of going that way, they had to go the long way. What's the long way? They went from Connecticut all the way down to Miami. That's over 1,200 miles. Then they took a truck from Miami all the way across to LA. That's over 2,300 miles. Then from there, they took a ship to Sydney, Australia. That's over 7,500 miles, fellas. And then from there, they took a train to go to Perth. That's over 2,000 miles. We're talking about over 14,000 miles for the Elimination Chamber to hit from here to States all the way to Australia. Des, I'm going to start with you and then Jay to follow. What are your thoughts on this whole Elimination Chamber press event, as well as this journey that the Elimination Chamber itself had to go through?
I said it last night. I'll say it again. Lord have mercy. What could I have done with that hour of my life that I'll never get back? Because I'm just saying, that was the most redundant press conference I've ever seen in my life. Everybody said the same shit completely over and over and over. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to WrestleMania. And these are the other people in the match with me. It literally was the same thing over and over. So I was just like, okay, whatever. This is. I would rather after the pay-per-view press conference where we get more substance and stuff that we want to hear about and talk about. So this was blah, especially compared to what they did for the WrestleMania kickoff press conference. This one was just trash. And that whole situation, talking about the Elimination Chamber itself, it's actually pretty cool when you think about it. I mean, nobody could believe the fact that pirates actually hindered them from getting the structure over the fast way. But what people are probably not, too keen and don't really know that these pirates, they try to hijack your shit. So they try to steal your shit. So I don't blame WWE for, turning things around like, okay, no, we're going to have to go the safe way, which is the long way, but we got to do what we got to do. So it is what it is. Jay?
Ay, 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 ay. Wow. Yeah, that hour and 5 minutes yesterday was bull crap. I could have took that talk another time. Just the setting alone, it was at best. But kudos to the crowd. The crowd kept it live and everything. It was their first time, well, for most of them, seeing wrestling there, and it was just weird that they kept on showing their cameras on certain people that was there. Like you didn't go all around and showed everything. You just kept on spotting like 4 or 5 main people y'all would look at. And when the thing with the pirates happened, I was like, wait a minute, this can't be true. And when you was telling me Shane about it, I was like, oh my god, this shit is like Pirates in the Caribbean with WWE. You know, kudos to them for actually getting everything there and prepped in time for tomorrow. Well, today in their terms, you know, that they, even just doing what they did is big. And you know, all in all, I just want them to put on a good show tomorrow. After going through something like this, in which they got stalked by the pirates and almost got their stuff taken away. Shit, we could get the best probably elimination chamber we've ever seen. Shane.
I got to do it. I got to give shout out. I got to give the 3 bells to the production crew at WWE because they could have just easily have said, well, due to this situation, we are unable to have this PLE in Perth and then probably find another place. But it would have been absolutely insane with all the ticket sales and the promotions. But they managed to do it the long way and the hard way, but they got it done. There's a chamber, there's a ring in that arena in Perth, and we are going to have a PLE as scheduled. So shout out to WWE and their love for us, because only love would have had them done that instead of just money, because they would have just said, well, we'll just wait for the next project. So shout out to them. And fellas, let me ask you this question, because something happened at the end of this PLE before we close out, which I thought was weird. They have this thing there in Australia called the Shui. Rhea and Grayson, they showed us what that is by pouring a drink into their shoe. They took their shoe off, poured a drink in it, and then began to drink the drink from the shoe. Des and then Jay. I mean, really, from your shoe, you couldn't just take it to the head?
That shit was disgusting. Disgusting. Pure nastiness. Like, I'm sitting here just with my hands on my face, like, what the hell is that about? Pure nastiness. Shane, would you do that?
You couldn't pay me enough to do that.
And it's
Absolutely not.
it's your own speaker. Like, I don't know what
Mm-mm.
type of tradition that is, but Lord have mercy, I don't think they should have showed that on TV. But I guess they showed it for the people there, the people who live there, for them to see it. But I could have lived without that. I wish I was you, Shane, and had turned my thing off already by the time that happened. Like,
Ugh,
just completely.
ugh. I agree. Jay, you still with us? You okay?
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, shit, yo, if I was 20 years younger, that would have been something I would have tried in my early 20s myself. It
Mm-hmm.
just seemed different. Like, their country has different ways of having fun. It's all but fitting for a country like that. So if they want to have shoeies, well then shoey away. Because like I said, if I was to do it, I would have done it 20 years ago. But now that I'm an old guy going bald, nah, I can't do it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, after all, I did used to drink English 800 back in the day, so I guess that's the same difference, right? Ugh. Anyway, we say congratulations to WWE, and we say good luck to all of the superstars out there. We're going to talk about you guys later on the night when we talk about Elimination Chamber for tomorrow. But let's get with today. Today, we're talking about SmackDown, which obviously you should know with all the time differences that's going on, that today was a taped show. And you have noticed this if you listen real carefully to the commentators, because usually when the show opens, they have that wide shot. And then it's Corey that would say, yeah, we're coming to you live from a sold out blank, blank, blank. But they didn't say that. They went straight to the Progressive, sponsored by Progressive. So he said, yeah, of course it's taped. But I would say for a taped show, it was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed tonight's episode of SmackDown. And we went straight to it with match number one. The ladies came in the house. Liv Morgan came, and she was fighting Tiffy Time, this Tiff Strat. And then Bianca Belair, of course, she came out first because she had to go and sit her little cute, fine self over on the side of the commentator table. Des, I'm going to start with you and Jay to follow. What did you think of this opening match tonight?
I liked it. Liv and Tiffany. I mean, Tiffany is new to SmackDown still, but she fits. It's weirdly enough, it's like a glove going on her hand. Like that fit is just perfect. You don't like if I would have never known that she was on SmackDown. I mean, on NXT prior. To me, she just fits the show, and I think Liv Morgan was a good competitor, someone for her to go against tonight. They did a good job. I'm not gonna lie. That corkscrew power bomb from the corner was interesting. I forgot who did it because I didn't even write it down as far as who nailed it, but that was a cool move. I don't know. Are they trying to give us like a feud between Tiffany and Bianca Belair, or is this just for the Elimination Chamber? Because I mean, last week on Raw, they were just going back and forth on the mic, and then tonight she just outright, she slapped Bianca. And I'm like, are they trying to give us something between the two of them? But there's no more pay-per-views now after tomorrow, so I'm like, what? Like, how is this going to work? But yeah, overall, yeah, I like the match. I'm not mad that Tiffany won. Yeah, good match to me. Jay?
Woo! My girl Tiffy Tom wins. She best to have taken that W today because, I put it like this. This was a match that was needed as far as the type of caliber wrestler that Tiffy was fighting tonight. And with Liv delivered better in this match than what she did in her Elimination Chamber qualifier match. So I give kudos to where it's given on both ladies because they both brung it tonight. And the moves that they were doing, I was noticing that they were much more harder and aggressive and everything. And that power bomb, um, Tiffy did that one, and the crucifix driver that lived it, that was fire. I thought that one was strong. That move was strong as hell today when she did it the first time. And with Bianca being out there, like Des, you never know, bro. They really might be setting up a WrestleMania thing because remember they also met up in the back. I think last week or the week before, and Jade was there back there with them. So it seems like they're going a certain way with these women, and like yo, God knows what way they're gonna go with it. I'm still sitting here praying that this is all for like a new belt that all these women are gonna compete for, bro. Like after Elimination Chamber, I'm just hoping and praying there's some good news on the horizon. But kudos to Tiffy Time for getting that dub. Show them what NXT people do. Get him, Tiff.
I agree with both of you guys. That Tifa, she is really a likable. Like, I like her. I really, really like her. And I'm not the biggest fan of Liv, but I would say that she definitely delivered top shelf tonight. And by the way, I don't know if you peeped this, but the overall rating, Morgan got 85 and Tifa got 79. For now, she got 79. And that slap, woo-wee. Jay, so Bianca is not going to forget that slap. We may think she's going to forget, but out of nowhere, Bianca's going to come back for that Tiffy Tom ass. Trust and believe. Before we continue, I want to play this message that was left.
Hey, it's your girl, Miss Cheesecake, coming to clap and tap and showing love. Everybody in the chat, make sure y'all follow and share the Three Bells Podcast Friday Night Smackdown Recap. What's going on, Shane O'Mac, Triple J, and Mundo 24. Shout out to y'all, shout out to the room.
Shout out to you, Miss Cheesecake, and thank you so much for joining in. I see you left the room, but hopefully you'll come back and join us. We have so much more to talk about, and we would love to see you. So let's go backstage, where there was an interview with Mr. Drew McIntyre. He said something interesting that I want us to listen. He basically said,
feels like my entire life and career has led to this moment, this match, every twist and turn, every moment of heartbreak. My greatest love, wrestling. My most dysfunctional relationship, that title needs me as much as I need it. If I lose tonight, if I lose the Chamber, if I lose at Mania, it was all for nothing. If I lose, my entire career is about as useless as CM Punk's return to WWE.
What kind of shade was that? I mean, that was shade, but not as big as this shade a few seconds later from Bobby Lashley, for he stepped up to Drew and said,
I get it. They had all this hype about CM Punk, and then he gets hurt. Some of the memes that you've been posting and the t-shirt that I've been dying. It's like, it's almost as comical as WrestleMania 37. I'm going to beat you up, put you in a hurt lock and make you pass out. You should have seen the look on everybody's face. I mean, the hype is real, Drew.
He walks away laughing, just leaving Drew standing there with like this blank, Sim City character look in his face. What do you guys, Jay, start with you and then Des to follow. What do you guys thought on this little shade fest backstage?
I think something like this was needed between both guys. Like if you're gonna do something to display both Elimination Chamber guys, and both prior to it or whatever, yeah, go at it. Have your jokes. Take your punchlines or your shots. Drew taking that shot at Punk was gold. I felt that was needed because you know this is the Drew that we're beginning to like and feel, because as COVID champion we didn't feel him. Nobody was there. So now that we getting this side of him, keep on bringing it. And then for the fact for Bobby to say like that, mentioned on WrestleMania 37, shit, he knows what it is. Taking him for a joke. That's the good thing. So we never know between the two if they'll have that feud all over again. I could see it after after everything that happens at Elimination Chamber, and then when he's done with AOP and whatnot, then maybe he could revisit that rivalry he had with Drew. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, that was hilarious with Bobby just coming in, saying what he had to say, and then just walking away laughing, leaving Drew there to making Drew look like a joke, you know. Um, and I really don't appreciate these swipes at CM Punk every week and every day. They must be leading to a really nice story between the two of them, because my gosh, I've never seen anything like that. And notice every time we've seen Punk, he has not mentioned it. He has not said anything. So it seems like it's just been one-sided so far. But I mean, I like the segment. It just gave you another layer of a story within the Elimination Chamber for tomorrow or later on this morning. And I can't wait to see Bobby kick Drew's ass again.
Drew is really on this shade fest because notice during their time at Perth, excuse me, there was this, I guess, like a promotional banner where you had Cody Rhodes and Drew. He drew some eye tears on his face. I mean, this guy, he is just throwing shade left and right. You gotta love this guy, man. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It's gonna be, oof, crazy. But let's move forward on the TV screen, for there was a video package of one Cedric Alexander and Ashanti, if I'm saying his name right, from Hit Row. Are we seeing is that his name?
It's
Ashante,
the Adonis.
Ashante, what I said, Ashanti? Well, it's ASHANTE. It's the same. Ashanti.
Ashanti is with an I.
So it's Ashante. Okay, Ashante.
Yeah.
The Adonis. Is that how you pronounce this? THEE?
Yeah, Adonis.
Okay, I want to get this right because I don't know, because this is not my dude. I was not a Hit Row guy, so this is my first time even knowing this guy's name. I'm still learning B-Fab's name. Okay, which by the way, we're gonna talk about her later. So you keep your ass right there, girl. Your thoughts, since I have your attention, Des, and then Jay to follow. This looks like a possible tag team, yes?
Yeah, but I was confused. Like, this is what that whole segment was that we seen a few weeks ago or a few months ago with Ashante sitting in the locker room with, well, not the locker room, but in the office with Nick. That was not what I was thinking of him tagging with Cedric, the career killer. So I'm intrigued, I guess, because they look alike, which I don't know. I mean, a tag team, I would have been better off with him being a singles competitor at least, because he was just in a group that failed. So now you're gonna put him in a tag team next, like let him get a run by himself. Let us see who he really is. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I like it, because I mean Cedric don't have no momentum going for himself. But I don't know. Jay?
Well, before I say anything, kudos to the two listeners. Salute to y'all that are here, Queen Donatella and my guy Rick. Love y'all both. And here we go. Now with this Ashante the Adonis and Cedric the I was about to say Cedric the Entertainer. Oh my God, Cedric Alexander, Cedric Alexander. Like it's crazy. Like Des, I told you earlier, I was talking with the boom, and that topic of conversation came up as well with him. And we was like, yo, what's gonna be happening with Ashanti? What like we was saying the same thing, and he said it to me. He was like, you should pair him up with Cedric Alexander. And when this shit happened on TV, guess who's the first person to message me? Like, haha, I said it. I was like, bro, I did not see this shit happening. But damn, you pairing the two together, and to me, you know what it is? Ashante's already been in a group setting, and Cedric only seems to get the best of himself being within a group and a tag setting also. So, they gotta try to see what they can do with them. But, I want to see, because we never really got to see anything from Ashante at all. And, if we see anything, like I said, even the same thing with BFAB, we seen BFAB maybe a couple of matches in NXT, and the same goes for him. And if we know anything about Cedric being a high flyer, I wouldn't be too surprised if Ashante's another one that's a high flyer, similar to how you got Axiom and Frazier in NXT. So, I want to see what it is. And like you were saying before, like we've been saying for a minute, they gotta split these tag titles up because now the tag teams are being formed. There's too much to go around, so now's the time. There has to be something up their sleeves to get this to happen. So, that's what I gotta say on it.
Quick follow up. So, do you guys not think that it would have been a better route for them to put Asante and Cedric on NXT to like gain some ground instead of them being on SmackDown, where we won't see them one week and then we'll see them another week? Like Shane, Jay, what are your thoughts on that one? Do y'all think that they should have been featured on NXT first?
Absolutely. If there's a perfect place, there's no of a perfect place than NXT. Start your way from down there and work your way up, build your way up. Because keep in mind, for a second, we were seeing Cedric Alexander, with his little pre-video packages before he came out, and it was still flat. So let's see them in NXT. Let's see how they can complement each other because they do look alike. Maybe they're similar in the ring. Maybe they could feed off of each other very well. And what better place than to practice that and to introduce that to us than NXT? Go on NXT, possibly go for that tag team title, and then when you're ready, and only when you're ready, let's talk SmackDown or even Raw. Yes, Jay?
The way I'm looking at it entirely is like whatever show you would have thrown them on, this would be the result. Like you throw them on SmackDown, you're gonna see them every 2 or 3 weeks. You throw them on NXT, you're gonna see them every 2 or 3 weeks because NXT tag teams are growing as well. Besides like the family, you got Gallus, you got Chase U reunited, you got the Wolf Dogs. You got quite a decent stable of tag teams in NXT, and in the main roster, you don't really got much as far as SmackDown. So it was like to me it's a 50-50 thing between them being NXT and SmackDown. It's kind of now like the same experience if you notice it. So whichever way they went, it would have been it's either way a hard decision to me. So even if they want to throw them down there for a minute, then go ahead. But if they display them now and they get washed real quick, then yeah, I can see the fact that they should have probably went the NXT route before trying on the big boy route. So, I'm just like, yeah, I'm sitting back and I'm saying stay tuned to that.
What say you, Des?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't think that we wouldn't see them consistently on NXT because of the fact that they do have main roster burn. So I think that they would find them a spot to be on NXT for more than just every other few weeks.
Well, all right. Shout out to Mundo's studio clock letting us know that it's 10 minutes to 11. But yeah, absolutely. It's like, okay, Seti and Adonis, you got to give us a reason to like you. Give us something. You understand what I'm saying? Like really grab our attention because you have a lot of competition out there. You have a lot of really, really good tag teams out there. And here you two guys coming from one faction, and then you coming from another faction. You guys were doing your solo thing for a minute, and now you're coming together. You really got to win us over. You really have to impress us. I am going to open my minds to you guys, but I'm telling you, it's a very small window. Very small window. This will
Shane,
definitely stay tuned. Des?
but what was the point of the whole vignette though? Like, does either one of you guys actually? What was the point of it?
You know what I think? You know what I think? That when you look like, when you go back in the days and you think of the famous old school wrestlers like Adrian Adonis, a prima donna, clothes style wearing type of a person, you got to think of now that they're going to repackage this guy, Ashante the Adonis, as one of those flamboyant, dressy guys. And he's going to have his boy, his sidekick, be just as flamboyant and dressy as him. So I could see that route. But goddamn, what type of an outfit did he choose for him at the end with those last two? Bro, the two straps and then with the Heart Foundation glasses and some leather tight pants. No, his
Bro,
taste is horrible.
he had him in a crop top, with jacket or some shit like the bullet. I don't know what that was with tight leather, just hugging on him. I was like, oh, okay, is this the black version of the Pretty Deadly? Because I mean, Lord,
Basically.
The Adonis.
Basically.
The Adonis. Oh,
Ugh.
God.
Yeah, they definitely weren't. I mean, if what you're describing, it sounds to me that you're describing what Bobby and Friends is already doing. And it seems to me that they was dressed more like their arch rivals, who you call it, the Final Testament. That's what they was dressed more as. Like, again, I didn't understand that segment either, but I guess that was somewhat of an introduction of them possibly being a tag team, but it had to be done that way. Like, to me, it felt very NXT-ish. I would have seen that or expected that from an NXT episode. But like we said, going to keep an open mind and going to keep our eyes open on these guys. Let's see what name they give themselves. But whatever it is, don't say Friends because Bobby already has that one. So for this next segment, I'm going to need you guys' help, Des and Jay, because I kind of missed it. It looked like it was like a look back dealing with Cody or Drew. When you guys fill us in on that little segment, it was before the Roman and Jimmy backstage segment.
well, I don't mind doing that for you, Shane. Basically, it was a flashback of last Friday's SmackDown with The Rock just joining the Bloodline, and then it jumped to Monday Night Raw where they showed the match between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, and then how Jimmy and Solo came and they attacked Cody, and it was basically just telling the story, the continuation of the story with the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes, and how the Bloodline is basically going to be involved every night, no matter what show it is, in this journey to WrestleMania, and then it panned to the Bloodline's locker room. Did you see that part, Shane?
No, like I just seen like a quick shot of Cody. Like I really wasn't like looking at that because I was putting all my notes and stuff together. That's why I'm asking you guys to
Okay, so yeah, so then you see Roman sitting there. He's upset that he's on two SmackDowns back to back. He's like, "Why am I here?" But then Jimmy is just hyped because he's predicting the future about what's going to happen on Raw on Monday, because in his time it didn't happen yet, but he's telling us that it just happened. And he let me stop.
Wait, are you talking about the backstage incident?
Yes, because the show was taped and all this happened last Friday. It was just so funny to me because Jimmy is talking about what happened Monday, but in his time, Monday didn't happen yet. But let me not be all stupid about it. Let me just keep it real. So Jimmy was just talking about how
I mean, we're not up to that yet, but like
what?
I'm talking about the video package that was before this backstage.
It was all one segment.
It was all one segment.
Yeah.
Okay, that footage led to the backstage of Roman and Jimmy, and okay, because that I saw. But
yeah, that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking, because that video package was quick. It was just showing that The Rock joined the Bloodline, and then the Bloodline was at Raw, and they took out Cody Rhodes, course, in the match, and they took out Jay, and and then it panned back to the locker room where the Bloodline was at, and Jimmy was just gloating about what he did, and then so am I speaking on it, or are you going to take it from there? Like I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep on. Continue, and then Jay will follow.
So then, Jimmy was gloating about everything, and then, Roman looks at him and says, "So, who sent you to Raw? And then, it was like an awkward pause. He's like, wait. Jimmy was like, OG, Paul did, and I checked him over and over and over, and, he called the play, and I executed the play. He was like, damn, man, you just stooged Paul out just like that. He said, I made the call. I made the call. Roman said to Jimmy. He was like, oh, I see. So he was like, didn't I do a good job? He's like, yeah, you executed the play. You did a good job. Did a great job. And then, Paul Heyman slides his fat ass into the scene, and he says, my tribal chief, Grayson Waller is here. And then he was like, bring him to me. And then that was pretty much it. Paul went off to go find Grayson Waller.
It seemed like I missed that whole Cody thing myself because I got distracted by my dog. So, I'm gonna just breeze by to the segment because that's what I basically saw. And you saw, Jimmy is so happy go lucky with everything, like nothing's happening, and he thinks he's really on Roman's good side. I don't know. I think Jimmy's really playing a sideways role that he's gonna probably decide to just want to turn eventually. I wouldn't keep it past him, to eventually turn. And you know, for him to say how he said it when Heyman, before Heyman came and about Heyman calling the shot. I was just like, like Dev said, we already saw it Monday. There was no need to say that part. It just felt off a little bit at that point, but it fitted in the way it needed to. So, kudos to all of them and throw your ones up.
Jay, did you notice, and Des, did you notice that before they panned away from Jimmy, how he was raising his hand to get a dap, and once again, they left him hanging? He was asking for a dap from Roman, and then he went to Solo, and Solo just stared at him. But once again, he was left hanging with a dap, just like on Monday when they did their little thing, and Jimmy was walking backwards towards the tip of the ramp where Solo was, and he was holding his hand up so Solo to give him a dap, and he never dapped him. And the camera pointed away, and then it came back, and his hand was still up, waiting for him to be dapped. So now it's this thing on Twitter where everybody is like, yeah, Jimmy is still waiting for that dap. Jimmy is still hanging on that dap. Like, did you guys notice that, Jay and Dez?
I definitely noticed that, because I'm noticing like the like Roman, Heyman, and Solo, they're all serious, and Jimmy's the only one with the quack pack face laughing like everything is all good and dandy. You can't be taking this shit like that, bro. Everything's not a game. Just because Roman's calling audibles and calling shots, meaning you're like his backup quarterback. You're like his third string to him because Solo's gonna handle business before you can. And it's good that it's happening to Jimmy, that he's getting played like that. And this is why I say also, this is another way of him being this way before he decides to want to turn down the line on them, because it's not supposed to be this way. He sees Jay being all hyped and happy and doing this thing on Raw. So he can't be that way around Roman. So, but he just keeps on showing it. Like, he's just too hyped for me.
No. Maybe it's the contrast because of the fact that everyone is so serious and so stupid and so stiff. And here you have this guy, he's hype, he's Uncle Jimmy at the barbecue. He's like, yeah, come on, let's do this. And, where's the Heineken and pass my rib type of attitude? He's the happy-go-lucky and everyone has a good time with Jimmy. But once it comes down to business, then that's when we see the other side of Jimmy. But I don't know. I have a feeling that all of this is, just like you guys said, all of this is going to lead to something. It's like he's blowing up this balloon, and then any moment, it's just going to explode, and something is going to happen. Des, do you have anything else to say before we continue on this segment here?
I just wanted to say that I don't understand why all of a sudden everybody noticed that. Jimmy has been getting the cold shoulder from Solo with the hand fives for as long as I can remember. And usually Jimmy just daps himself. So this is nothing new. So it's weird that it's become a thing on Twitter because it's nothing that we haven't seen over the last how many months. So it's kind of odd that nobody picked up on that a long time ago.
But I think the thing is that it's just like it's so much more obvious now. I don't know if it was as obvious then, but it's really, really obvious now. Right? He holds the dap way longer. He holds those daps for a long time, the past, couple of days, Daps.
because now he's not dapping himself. It used to be he'd be standing there, waiting for a 5, and then he'll just dap himself. But now I guess he's just keeping his hand in the air. But I mean, yeah, it's so weird. But as you were, sir.
Well, this will be to be continued. To be continued. Well, here comes the debut of this guy who I personally did not want to see debut at this time, but we got it anyway. And when it was advertised last week, I said to the fellas in the chat, I said, watch, this dude is going to fight a jobber. Because when they advertised it, they said Braun Breaker is going to make his SmackDown debut, but it was just a picture of him by himself. So you mean he's going to fight, but you're not going to tell us who he's going to fight? Yeah, it's a jobber. It's a jobber. And lo and behold, here comes Mr. Dante Chen. And Corey tried to amp him up by saying that this is the first WWE superstar from Singapore. I said, yeah, that's cute and everything, but he's still a jobber. And how do we know he's a jobber? Because Braun Breaker broke his ass within 40-somewhat seconds. It was the quickest match of the night. We already know the power of Braun Breaker. That's why he was signed to SmackDown. So what was the point of him showing us what he can do? We know what he can do. We just seen him do his due in order to gain the tag team championship. So what was the point of this? Jay, I'll start with you and Des to follow. Were we impressed by this match? Because I sure hell was not, considering that we already know what Breaker is capable of.
Well, they picked a bad opponent for him. I would have gave him at least someone with a name to their resume that's on the roster. Not no Dante Chen, who's similar to like that guy last week, Javi Banal, and the other guy that they fed us last week. So, we already know Braun is fast, powerful, and everything. It's good. The only thing that confused me was like, if he's an NXT tag team champion, he should have came out with the belt at least around his waist so we can know, okay, fine, this is where you come from. Because there's a lot of the WWE Universe that actually doesn't sit down and watch NXT at all. Like literally donuts. So, he should have came with the belt to me and be like, look, this is me. This is who I am. I'm a wolf dog. So, it's bad that they put him against that jobber and good first victory is all I say. A C, I give that a C plus victory. If it was a better opponent, maybe a B.
B for like the bullshit you just said, bro. Straight up and down. No, I was not impressed by this. It was not needed. We already know who Braun Breaker is, like you said, Shane. That was stupid. They tried to put the whole NXT person name and all that other stuff behind this Dante guy. No, stupid decision, pointless, waste of time. Done. Shane.
So let me ask this quick question then. Des, I'll start with you and Jay to follow. Who would have been at least a decent superstar from SmackDown that could have easily went against Braun Breaker? That would have made it an interesting match.
See, that's the thing. Most of the mid-card people are on Raw. SmackDown is full of tag teams, so I can't even think of any singles competitors really. That's not main eventer guys. Shoot, I really don't know.
This is probably why they have a jobber.
Right, that's the thing. Like I said, most of the mid card guys are on Raw, and it's just a lot of tag team people on SmackDown. So maybe if it had broke up a tag team and had one of them, that's my best thing. But I don't know who.
I would have probably said maybe Austin Theory. Since he's NXT caliber as far as skill set wise, I would have threw that up there against him.
Okay, cool. That would have been an interesting match. That would have been cool. I mean, hell, anyone except for a jobber. But we'll see how they treat this guy. Is he the same Braun Breaker that's on NXT as on SmackDown? Or are they going to split him different? Is he a tag team Braun Breaker? Or is he one half of the tag team? You know what I mean? But, hey, man, welcome to SmackDown, dude.
Shane,
all right, let's... Yes, that's...
Honestly, if I can answer that real quick, he felt like a different character tonight. Mind you, he didn't even acknowledge the fact that he's on NXT because he didn't bring the belt with him either. So maybe this is a different character. It felt like a different character, but yeah.
Interesting. It's like, two of the same person. It's like, it's so weird. I mean, it's not bad, but you know, I don't know. But we'll see how they treat this guy moving forward. But the landscape is getting real crowded, and it's going to take a lot to really impress us and keep our attention. But you did good tonight, so congratulations to you, considering. Let's go backstage, fellas. We had LWO. They was talking about something. And then this sexy ass Elektra Lopez, good gravy, she came out. And she basically told these dudes to their face that LWO is basically dead. And then they said some other stuff. And then Santos and crew, they came out and whooped their ass. And Santos was saying something with his freshly coated suntan. Des, I'll start with you and Jay to follow. Do you actually see the downfall of LWO?
Well, I like to just get my moment in where I can treat you like Jay and just let you know that you skipped the segment before this. Yeah, you might want to shuffle some papers while you're on mute there, Shane. But I'll answer the question though.
Before you answer, which segment did I forget?
The Judgment Day.
Oh, it was like a quick little segment before they walked out of the ring.
Yeah, they went in gorilla position. Yeah, because it was leading into the match. But yeah, no, this is not the downfall of the LWO. It's just leading into the return of Rey Mysterio. There again, this is Destiny's Child without Beyonce right now, so they're trying to stay afloat. Kelly, aka Carlito, is trying to do everything she can to keep the group together, but she just ain't Beyonce. So yeah, so that's what's happening now. And I like the fact that they're playing on the whole fact that Joaquin and I forgot the other guy's name, but that they were with Santos first. And like he said, you guys abandoned me, you turned your backs on me. And Elektra basically said the same thing, like, yo, your loyalty, like, you forgot where your loyalty lies. So I like that they're playing on it. Now they're actually giving us some type of substance for this storyline besides, it being about Carlito being attacked and Rey Mysterio being attacked. I like that. I don't know about y'all, but that's giving me something to invest in. Jay, what about you?
See, with me, I like the fact that they're focusing, like you said, on the 3-on-3 aspect of it, as far as with the, like the not even the the 3-on-3, if you want to look at it that way. With Santos' two former guys and Carlito, and then you got these other three. It's a storyline that's been coming since NXT, and it was about time for it to happen. What I see happening, Shane, honestly, I think that Zelina's gonna turn her back on LWO just because of the fact is, like Des said, there's no Rey Mysterio around at the moment. So, she's, this group is slowly, but slowly dying out. That's what I can see happening. Right after Legado beats them, these guys everybody goes their separate ways after this.
So then the question is, will they actually split, or will they stay together and try to hang on long enough for Rey Mysterio to return? But either way, it's giving us good stories. Speaking of good stories, I have some messages, fellas. Let's play them right now. This one is from Anthony, for he says,
They already fell. The moment Rey Mysterio left and Andrade.
this is true. He's healing. I take it that he's going to come back, and maybe something can happen. Let's hear this message from Michael. Michael says,
"Hey man, leave Shane O'Mac alone. At least he didn't have his promo written on his wrist like Rock did."
Oh Lord.
Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Michael, man. And shout out to everybody, man. Thank you so much for the messages. I see you, Donatella. We see you. Shout out to you, sweetie. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I have my notes on my my computer here, so I guess it's the same diff. All right, we're on to match number. I do have one more. Thank you, Des. This is from Anthony.
The only way to keep the LWO going is if they bring Andrade's on their team. Then I can see it lasting a little longer. Other than that, I don't see them really lasting that much longer.
Well, you got to keep in mind that Andrade, he has this Veer vignette thing going on Raw. He's been doing it for 2 consecutive Raw episodes. If he does it again this Monday, then it's official. He's going to be the vignette guy, just like Veer was for about 2 or 3 months. Des and Jay, they laughed at me about it, and they actually chastised me when I first referred to it as a Veer vignette. But that's what it's starting to look like. But what you just said is not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind if he jumped to SmackDown and then were to join the LWO to help, with that story and to help keep them together. What say you, Des and Jay?
I actually want to lean on Jay on this one. Jay, you can unmute your mic real quick. Is there any like similarities between Andrade and Delgado? Legado. Fuck.
That's fine. No, is that you know what it is? They're all second generation, third generation guys within who they are. There's no beef between them because Andrade was already on the main roster while Santos was in NXT,
Uh,
and Santos, before the family got fully bigger, the Don was fucking with Santos. They were cool. So
so, so, so you're
talk
telling
to
me,
me.
that there's no reason for Andrade to even get into their business, correct?
I would say he should for the pride of Mexico. Why not? They
Well,
both they both got something to prove to their families because that's what Andrade said in his vignette is the family thing, and with the guys from Legado like Santos, like I said, his father and the other two guys that he got on him with him, and all these other guys were like LWO members. Their parents, grandparents, uncles, whatever you want to call them, were members of those groups. So I could see that both of these guys do something probably like the Cinco de Mayo type fight in this in this when all that comes down to play because right now it's not going to happen. But it's something I've been wanting to see is a Santos versus Andrade match.
I'm gonna keep to my guns and say this all holds out until Rey Mysterio gets back because he was already asked about this, and his number one target when he comes back to WWE is Santos. So look out for that.
I would like to see that. I mean, hell, it'd be better than these vignettes. You ain't finding nobody on those vignettes. But like Des said, we had a segment before that where Judgment Day was in the back area before they was coming out for their tag team match. I guess that was like an introduction, a little pep talk or whatever, Des, about what's to happen before they stepped out. Is that what that basically was?
Yeah, it was. The homegirl was just saying that JD and Dominic are about to go up against Damian and Finn Balor's competition for tomorrow. So she was like, "Well, this is a good time for you guys to scout the competition." And then Finn was like, "Competition?" He said, "What?" He was like, "This." He was like Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne. He said they're not even in the same league as us. Basically saying that tomorrow is going to be a squash match because they don't even they don't respect them as competition. And yeah, they basically overlooking them. And then they told Dominic and JD to get it done tonight, soften them up for them for tomorrow.
And let's talk about that. For that was match number 3 tonight. It was Judgment Day versus Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. And by the way, they was rated, I didn't get the exact numbers for the exact guys, but it was give or take between 76 and 85 or something like that. Jay, I'm going to start with you and then Des to follow. What was your overall thoughts about this match?
I honestly felt we could have been given a little bit more from like Dominic. I felt Dominic was off this match, and we got more of a display from JD McDonough tonight. I liked everything that I was seeing from him, especially that running flying Spanish fly in air. That was to me that was fire, and everything that Bate and Dunn been doing has been they're on the same page. A1. These two guys, they know everything that they're about to do, and you see how clean they are with everything. They're formidable. They're a good formidable tag team. I ain't gonna hold you, and I'm gonna say these guys we're possibly looking at the new tag team champion. I wouldn't be too surprised if now this is the start of the future breakup of Judgment Day.
Oh man. Trying to remember what we were talking about last Friday because I believe was it Friday? Oh, no, I think it was Monday actually when Shane was just having his rant about why DIY isn't in the position that Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne is in, and then we started talking about Judgment Day and possible scenarios with them. So, maybe this is it, or maybe like somebody said a few weeks ago, this might be the way to get into a breakup of the titles. But overall, I enjoyed the hell out of that match. Again, the maturation of Dominic Mysterio. I'm loving the fact that they have him wrestling damn near every show. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, because he's getting better and better and better in the ring. JD showed out tonight, his big ass head. Let me see what my notes were from this match. That standing Spanish fly was fucking awesome. It was clean. I really liked that. That was really cool. Again, I'm impressed with Tyler and Pete. You know, they're gonna give Damian and Finn a hell of a match tomorrow because they're two tough little guys. They're really tough and strong, and it'll be a good match in my opinion. Tonight's match was really good, and I'm happy that they didn't give him a loss before the pay-per-view, and then after the match when Finn and Damian came out and tried to attack them. They did the whole little okey doke on them and flipped out the ring while they got in the ring, and then they took out Dom and what do you call it, JD again. So this is gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not staying up to 5 a.m, but I'll see it sometime tomorrow. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Shane?
Yeah, I actually like this match. This Pete Dunne dude, woof, he is a really brutal guy. Like the way he just cracked these guys' fingers and all of these submission moves. I mean, this guy, he's brutal. And him and Tyler, they both complement each other very well because even though Tyler may not be as brutal, he's fast and he's precise in his moves, and they complement each other very well. The only thing that I was saying on Monday was that because, DIY, they've been together for like a while, at least to us on Raw. That was the only thing that I was saying that, because it seems like these guys, they just became a tag team here on SmackDown. I understand that they had history before, but I'm talking about now. I'm talking about now on SmackDown, they became like this awesome tag team. That's all I was saying. But I like these guys. I really do like these guys. And you know who else I really want to like that I can see liking if I don't know what's up with this guy, but this JD dude, I really do see a good athlete in this guy. Just like that Spanish fly you talked about, that was an awesome move. And did you see his moonsault? He had one of the highest moonsaults that I have ever seen. It was so high, even though it was countered at the bottom, but it was very high. It was the highest, and he almost nailed it. But then it was countered. But I really do see something in this guy. I don't know why he's holding back, or is this is all that they're allowing him to do so that he won't overshadow Dom?
Bro, I think the problem on Raw. And Raw, we don't get to see all of the match. Tonight on SmackDown, we got to see just about the entirety of every match. So we were able to see everything from start to finish. You know how we complain about, we'll get maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes of a match and then it'll just go on commercial and then we lose the momentum of the match. We didn't get that tonight. So we got to see these guys actually put on a show. And I think that might be the issue right there, that the fact that they're on Raw. But I agree with you 100%. I wanted to say to you that if Pete and Tyler win tomorrow, would you want to see a rematch for the titles with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne versus DIY? Shane?
How would that start? What would be you understand what I'm saying? Like I understand that you're freshly new tag team winners.
Right, and DIY are the guys that they beat to get to the number one contender spot.
Well,
so DIY would feel like, they would feel like, hey, since we were the last people you beat before you became champions, we should be the next ones in line. Technically, because they're the number 2 contenders. Technically,
they would have to hit SmackDown, wouldn't they?
No, remember this is the Undisputed Championship, so they're defended on both shows.
Right, but if they're initially SmackDown, why would they come to Raw? Just so that DIY can have a chance at them when DIY come to SmackDown?
Because they have the Raw Championship, so they can come to Raw if a challenge is set out by DIY.
But if you're the champion, why are you answering to someone that wants your champion? You come to me. I don't come to you.
Because they're two tough little dudes. I get what you're saying, but their characters are, well, you're calling me out, I'm gonna show up. Jay, what do you think, Jay?
I think in order for them two to even start a beef, I will have to think this will have to be some Twitter beef in which one of them gets called out that way. Because we're not going to see them probably call them out on Raw or anything. So they're going to probably offer an open invitation to them to come and give them like a number one contenders match before they actually give them a title match. So, let's stay tuned because if that happens, then there's a possible Mania match in the future between the two. Never know. Let's see.
Well, I tell you what, we are going to have a Elimination Chamber recap show tomorrow night at 10:30. I'm more than sure that we're going to have this conversation, which will go either way. So good luck to everybody tomorrow. And congratulations to Tyler and Pete on your awesome match. And JD, I am definitely keeping my eyes on you because I know that you could be and that you are a much better and more athletic fighter than what you are portraying, but something is holding you back for some reason. And as for you, Big Dom, dude, it's in you. It's in your blood. You've been doing this for so long and you've been surrounded by this for so long. You really got to come at us a lot more clean. You got to breathe. You got to relax and you just go with the flow, man. You got to be easy, but you got to go with the flow. It's easy strokes. Don't go too fast. You're going to come too fast. You want to be nice and easy, dude. All right? That way you don't hurt yourselves. You don't hurt us. All right? But it's in you. To be continued tomorrow. We had a quick recap on the men's elimination chamber, as once again a reminder as to who was in the chamber and all the flashing lights and pretty lights and stuff like that. So then we go backstage. Let's go backstage, okay? There was a shirtless Austin Theory, there was a Gayson, there was a Logan, and then there was Kevin Owens, who reminded Logan, hey, maybe you should bring the brass knuckles to Elimination Chamber, because that's what, Logan is so famous for now at this point of having brass knuckles in his matches. Des, I'm going to start with you and then Jay to follow. Was this necessary? I mean, I guess in a way the segment was necessary because before the end of the segment, Paul came out and he told Gayson that the tribal chief wants to see you. So Des, then Jay to follow. Your thoughts on this particular backstage?
It's Grayson. Grayson with an R. Grayson Waller.
What am I saying? Gayson? Grayson.
He said Gayson.
Gayson. Oh, so sorry. Grayson.
But
I apologize.
I think the whole point of the segment was for Paul Heyman to find Grayson and take him to see Roman. But it was also a tease to me because remember back a few months ago, I was saying that the three of them would be facing Kevin Owens and two other people of his choosing at Elimination Chamber in a tag team match. So I was just watching like, God damn it. I'm like, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And then, Kevin Owens shows up and I'm just like, wow, too bad. But, yeah, I mean, the same thing Kevin Owens said was like, oh, you guys really just standing here just looking at each other and talking about each other? He's like, what the hell is that about? So, yeah, it was just, it was odd to me that Logan Paul agreed with Theory. It was like, oh, yeah, I wish I had a talk with the tribal chief. I'm like, but didn't you just have a match with him last year when you tried to take his belt? Like, what? But, yeah, it was what it was. Basically just a way for Paul to get to Grayson. Jay?
Well, like with all of that, I looked at it as they're gonna, that this series between the two is not over. As we've been saying, this series deserves another part as far as with this U.S. Heavyweight Championship going on. You know, that's what the way I saw it. But the only thing is like, we saw them last night in Perth, so I'm like, damn, like I see what Shane is talking about. Like, should we have had it tonight? But Grayson Waller was clean shaved in this press conference yesterday, and then on SmackDown we're seeing him with a goatee. Like, come on, at least show us a shave or something. Even if it was a 5 o'clock shadow, show us something different. Like, that felt a little off right there.
Well, real quick, because I brought this up to y'all while we was in the chat. The fact that they were going in and out of reality from last week to yesterday, I just was like, this is so weird because they're talking about a show that has yet to happen again, just like how they talked about Raw. And then, they're showing clips of the wrestlers being in Perth. And I'm just like, should they have done that? Like the whole press conference was stupid as fuck anyway, so maybe they shouldn't have done that. But I know they had to give the fans something, but It just was like you said, Jay. It was weird. The contrast between yesterday and last week, but last week being tonight, some of it didn't match up.
Well, like I also said in the chat, good old video editing that made the footage from yesterday possible to get into the show tonight, because these guys, they can edit on the fly. Hell, they could have been editing as the show was airing. It takes them no time flat to put together a nice little package and throw it right into the show. You got like 2 minutes. Can you put something together? And we've seen them do it all the time. They put something real quick, real fast, real flashy. Works every time.
Could you do that, Shane? Could you be a part of that team?
Right now, as we speaking, no.
I believe in you, Shane. Fuck that. I believe in you. You can do it. Because it is. It's just what is it? They already have the storyboard on the damn computer, and you just copying and pasting the goddamn scenes, and it's already there. And then you press play, and it's like, oh, look at this nice flashy shit here. You can do that, Shane.
Well, shit, there you go. You can do that.
No, I
you
can't.
just explain how you can do it.
No, I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience for that shit. Hell no, I can't do that. Nah, you have
It's the
patience.
same buttons. The same buttons you press at your job would be the same buttons that you would get to put two videos together. It's called an edit.
I don't have. I have door open and door closed.
And that's what you have in editing. You have an in point and an out point and an insert. There you go. Doors open, doors close, and then the button where you can say stand clear. There's your edit.
I don't have the patience for that though. You got to scale things down a bit. Just this part right here, and then you got to add in. You got to add in. If you really notice the show, Wade was doing all the the talking, and it's it wasn't a live sound from the arena like usual. It was like a more in studio type of talking. So you got to throw that voiceover in. Nah, hell no, too much. Y'all good. That's just for people like you who have patience for that. I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, and I've been doing this for like in and out for what am I 51, like 20, 30 some odd years. So yeah, it's an acquired taste, and that's the thing about a taped episode. You can basically, and we've seen them do basically anything. They could even change the sound of the audience to fool us, to make them think that they have a lit audience. Like, wow, this audience is lit. Meanwhile, we go on Twitter and we see like actual footage from someone in the audience, and it's like quiet as a mouse. But
right, they did that tonight actually a few times. The crowd was really loud, but then you're looking at the actual crowd. The crowd's not even doing anything, and I was like, okay, this is clearly after the 10 to 12 o'clock crowd where some people left and niggas is tired. You remember those days. You remember those days, Shane, when But yeah,
exactly. Speaking of people and speaking of friends, unless there's another segment that I'm forgetting, I'm going to our match number 4. Match number 4. This is a match, Des.
Yeah. So after that whole thing with Roman, Grayson Waller and friends, we seen Dakota Kai being walked to the trainer's room by Nick Aldis and a referee. She was limping and she was weeping or whatever like that. So that happened.
That's right. This happened just before match number 4. Yeah. And then later on, we figure out what happened and all that good stuff. We will definitely talk about that. But I want to talk about this match right here, match number 4, which was Bobby and Friends, the Street Profit, versus the Final Testament's Authors of Pain, or AOP. We finally have this match. This was a hard-hitting match from start to finish. You had the Fireflies. I don't know if you noticed the Fireflies. They were in effect in the audience tonight. And there was some fighting going on outside of the ring. It was just chaotic. And it had me sitting here wondering, what's up with Bobby? Is this going to affect Bobby come tomorrow at the Elimination Chamber, because he's in the chamber match? Jay, I'm going to actually start with you. I want you to give us your thoughts on the match, as well as your thoughts on what was going on outside of the ring, because there was a lot of stuff going on this match. And then Des to follow.
I'm gonna put it like this: the way Des said about the way the crowd was looking, that's the way it goes into the point where you were talking about the Fireflies. Now, this is how we know that match to me was boring. The crowd decided to say, you know what, we're gonna do Fireflies because this match is not selling for us. It's not hitting. The guys were trying in front of the crowd, and you could see how hard they were trying as far as with their hits. and combinations and everything. That's just what I caught off of it, just because of that fact. Because I actually did write in parentheses on my paper, crowd doing fireflies. Usually, when the crowd does something that's different, either the match is boring or the match is like super great. Remember the old school boring matches with the balloons would be the beach balloons would be going through the crowds and stuff. So this match to me doesn't sell me because AOP, nah, they're not it. I give kudos to Dawkins in that match because Dawkins was doing his thing. He was quick, he was mobile, picking guys up. I liked everything he did tonight, as far as within that match himself. So to me, he was the MVP of that match. And then everything that happened outside the ring, that should have been in the ring as far as like 6-man tag-ish because, you know, man, that was pretty brutal out there. That excited me more than what the match in the ring excited me. So that tells you a lot. You know, Thank you to the fans for letting us know the match was boring. That's all.
So Jay, before there's your answer, Jay, AOP, they pretty much didn't impress you at all tonight.
No, they're not impressing me. They're trying to be guys who are fast and powerful, and their speed is not work. It's not working because I look at it like if you're fighting the Street Profits, they may and then they give you these other guys, these jobbers or whatnot with prides and stuff like this and everything. You guys are supposed to be like dominant in the ring and go crazy and beat them up. Like it didn't. It took a long time to put down the Street Profits, and the Street Profits were showing why they are who they are. But at the same time, I'm like, nah. I wasn't sold the first time on them. Same way like you wasn't sold on Indushir. And Indushir, look at them. They flopped 2-3 times. So that's the way I look at AOP. They've already flopped multiple times. And Karrion Kross is just one of those guys that's flopped 1,000 times. And they keep on trying and they're trying and they're trying. And it feels like tonight was one of those nights where they tried too hard and we've seen it by crowd reaction from behind the crowd. But like Des was saying, they incorporated the ooh, ah, hey, because of stuff like that within them changing the audio shit because I noticed that.
You gotta love Jay for giving me the longest no in the history of the Three Bells. Go ahead, Darius.
I actually started watching the matchup. No, but don't put words in my mouth. I did not say that they were using the sounds for the matches. I'm watching the match and the crowd is actually engaging in it, especially during the whole part where things broke apart outside. The crowd is actually like cheering and on their feet for it. And again, Jay, I don't know if you've ever been to a Raw or a SmackDown where it's 10 o'clock, and sat there since like 7 o'clock and watched main event, then the whole SmackDown, sat through commercials and stuff like that. And now imagine having to be asked to sit there for another SmackDown. That's basically you're doing a WrestleMania, but with it not being WrestleMania, you know, it's not easy. I mean, Shane, you got unmute your mic, Shane. When we sat there at Raw for 3 hours and it's 11 o'clock at night and they're like, oh, we got another match or 2 matches to go and it's tag matches and shit. It's hard to sit through that, is it not?
Yeah, we was like, damn, this shit's still going.
No matter how exciting stuff is, it's just hard to sit through it. And I disagree. I don't think AOP tried too hard tonight. I think that they went with they did a good job. They did they went with the pace with the Street Profits. I enjoyed the match. You already come in with your preconceived notions about AOP and Karrion Kross and all the stuff in the past. I told you from the moment that this started that I'm literally forgetting about the past and letting this play out. That's your favorite line. Let's watch this play out and just see what happens. But yet you're still so dismissive of Karrion Kross and AOP. It's crazy. I'm like, just let this play out. They obviously haven't even got to the apex of the whole story yet because they still haven't included what do you call it, Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley. And like Shane said, now we just seen the next part of their chapter. Karrion Kross just crushed Bobby Lashley's arm. So that arm is going to be taped up tomorrow or later on tonight. It might be a reason why he loses in the Elimination Chamber. And what's going to happen? He's going to come back for Kross. This is just still so new, still fresh. And again, like I stated a few weeks ago, But because of the fact that they don't have enough time to show everybody, we won't be able to get a consistent straight through story with this because they got to feature everything else. So we'll get them live one week, then we won't, then we will, then we won't. It's like everything else on SmackDown. Even the Bloodline storyline is not something that's consistent every week. So again, I enjoyed the match. You know, the fans seem like they're enjoying the match. They're cheering right now. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I too, try to keep an open mind AOP, and I thought they were awesome tonight. They did a good job. It was all in all a good match. I thought it was a good match from beginning to end, and I felt that the crowd was in the match. I mean, just because they was doing their Firefly thing, that could have happened at any point of the night. And keep in mind, fellas, that this is a taped show. This was taped last week after another episode of SmackDown, a live episode of SmackDown. So you can imagine how long they were there. Like Des said, they possibly had one, maybe two episodes for their main event during that 7:30 to 8 o'clock hour before SmackDown, and then asked people to stay for more, how you call it, matches for what we saw today. So they was out there. And they put on a good damn match. Yes,
and Shane, you also got to remember, imagine how much energy they probably just, put out after seeing that whole segment with The Rock. Because remember, The Rock was there. So that went off, and now you're asking me to, all right, let's do a whole nother SmackDown. Like what? That's a lot. I would have been like, I'm like, Shane, you really want to do this? Like, we really going to sit here and watch another goddamn SmackDown? Like, what?
But not for nothing. If we was in that environment, and you're telling us that we're getting a whole new SmackDown with the money that we're paid, would have been like, hell yeah, let's go, let's do it. Who's fighting? Oh, these guys, Street Fighters and Authors of Pain. Oh, word. Oh, we get to see LA Knight and Drew. Let's do it. We're gonna see, Tyler and Pete with JD and Big Dom. I'm for it. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I like this storyline, and it's definitely going to continue because there's no way that it's going to stop tonight the way it stopped. It's in the full mode right now, full speed ahead. Looking forward to that. We're going backstage, yes? We're going backstage to Dakota Kai and Bebe. Jay, I'm going to start with you and then Des to follow about this exchange between Bebe and Dakota Kai. Jay?
I think Dakota Kai is just setting her up. Just being with everything she's telling her. I don't really think she got hurt or anybody jumped her. I think she's faking a little bit just to make sure that she doesn't win, setting up a potential match between her and Bailey down the line. So that's the way I look at it because she was like, "Oh, I got your back, you got my back, and we got to make them pay." Yada yada yada. Yeah, right. If you're really in that much pain, you would have been crying boo-hoo. There was not one tear coming out your eye tonight, Dakota. So, yeah, good setup. And you trapping Bailey. Good shit.
Me and Jay have been on one accord with this shit from that SmackDown that we hosted together when I asked the question of where the hell was Dakota Kai when all this shit went down. I wrote it in my notes tonight. I said, I still don't trust Dakota, still giving off mastermind vibes, but she found a way to get Bebe to align with her and basically let her guard down. So me and Jay are on the same page with this one right here, man. I don't trust Dakota Kai at all. But of course, they're going to let this play out. Dakota's going to do whatever she has to do to keep Bailey's trust until, WrestleMania, where they'll pull the chair from under her and basically try to cost her the WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah, I did find that odd that she was that Dakota put herself in this position where she was saying she was, basically by herself chilling, and then the Kabuki Warriors came then and jumped her. And it's like, it's so easy to say that. It's so easy to go to Nick and say, all these chicks, they beat me up. I need some help. And the whole limping and the whole crying and, with the words of her saying that, we're going to make them pay. Like, that last line that she said, usually when somebody say we're going to make them pay, that's usually like it's almost like it's like you're playing. It's like they're playing victim. You're playing a victim. And this is something that a victim would say in order to get back to the person that victimized them. You understand what I'm saying? It's these little things. Like, I agree with both of you guys in terms of not trusting Dakota, because I don't trust her either, because that whole scenario was just, it was just too weird. And it was just too easy to say that that happened with no real proof of it happening.
Shane, Jay, you guys don't find it odd and like not I don't want to say odd, but like, doesn't it feel weird that Dakota and Bailey are referring to the other ladies as damage control? Like, it's so odd to me, and it doesn't make it, you know, it makes my ears feel funny, because that's what she said tonight. She said damage control jumped me in the locker room, and I'm just like, damn, they done stole the name, they got all the belts. Like, shit. How does that make y'all feel, Jay and Shane?
I think that's honestly what a leader would say of a group is stuff like that. You know, it's a smart tactic that she's using also, and you know, let's see what Dakota Kai continues to bring. You know, and my thing is, does she come out tomorrow in the PLE to support damage control or cost them the belt in the pre-show? You know, it's something to look at coming into this, because Dakota Kai is half Aussie, so something to keep your eyes upon.
Real quick, Shane, real quick. But they are. I don't see that happening because they're gonna have a match next week. So I don't see her coming out to support uh damage control.
And I think I think the reason why they refer to them as damage control is because they themselves called themselves damage control. So it's damage control versus what, Bailey and Dakota Kai. So they're not damage control anymore. It's these three girls here that's labeling themselves as damage control. So that's how I see it. And no, I don't see them at all at EC tomorrow.
That's In Vogue, the original members of In Vogue versus one original member and the two other. Well, the Temptations versus the Temptations. Like, yo, what the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah, yeah. Two guys from the original Temptations, they branch out and form another Temptations, and yeah,
Yo, hilarious.
yeah. I was going to say something, but we're going to we'll talk about that later. I have a segment, and we're going to talk about that later. But yeah, we're definitely keeping our eyes on you, Mr. Coda, because you may fool so many people some of the time, but you can't fool everybody all the time. Let's go backstage. We finally have Grayson with Roman. I want to tell you something, but it's for your ears only. Now, keep in mind that tomorrow for the Elimination Chamber PLE, Grayson is going to be there, and he's going to interview, if I'm not mistaken, both Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Yes? The same two people that Roman Reigns has a beef with. So now you have the host of the show in your office, and you say that line, and that's all we hear from you. Des, I'm going to start with you and Jay to follow. What is going on here?
I think that it's a setup. I think somebody is coming and they're gonna attack at least Cody, because Seth is still injured, like legitimately injured. So I think it's a setup. It's some type of setup. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be a part of the pay-per-view, because they could have just easily did this shit on SmackDown. So it's some type of bloodline story related situation that's going to happen. And what it is, I don't know. I'll leave the speculation to Jay, because Jay knows more about that family, because I don't know, if the Usos are still not cleared to, travel outside of the United States yet, which is why they haven't really been a part of any of the pay-per-views outside of America. So I don't know. So it might just be a solo thing, or it might be somebody joining, but I don't know. But Jay, I'll leave that to you. Go ahead, bro.
Oh man, the way I'm looking at it is like what you're probably saying. Is either a setup towards where like Grayson and Austin Theory, and they're gonna probably get one more person to help them try to jump Cody and Seth. But like you said, Seth is gonna roll out of the way because we already know he's hurt. So also something that I caught yesterday with Naya saying that she was born in Australia, but she moved to Hawaii. And there's quite a few of the Samoan family members that are probably live in Hawaii. So, we gotta keep an eye out if maybe like the guys that we've been talking about as well. We wouldn't be too surprised if they debut one of the new members of the family tomorrow, which would be, interesting to see if they'd want to add more to the bloodline to protect. So, I'm thinking about it in different ways.
In the age of Triple H, anything is possible. But then again, I'm putting that question mark on my head. What does Roman want out of nowhere? This is just coming out of nowhere. What does Roman want with Grayson? And will we be able to understand and know what that conversation was between Grayson and Paul Heyman from last week? I don't know if you remember last week. There was a quick shot of them talking outside of Roman Reigns' suite, if you want to call it that, a suite or his palace or his little section, how you want to call it, because he had to show up for work. But yeah, there's something brewing here because he's not going to just call the guy here just for nothing. It has to be a reason so that at the end of all of this, Roman benefits from it. And then somehow Roman is going to do something for Grayson, which is why he is going to agree to do it. We should see tomorrow what goes on. Now, on my list, I have final match number 5. Unless there's something else that happened in between, I take it.
No, nothing else.
No. So we're going straight to the final match of the night, which was LA Knight versus Drew.
They gave us the 3 bells too. They copied us. Shane. They stole our shit.
Well, yeah, they have this thing called what is that? One last match by Capital One. Is that what they're doing now to indicate to us that this is the final match?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they jacked our bells, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, we're jacking a lot of their stuff too, so I'm not mad at them at all. I say it's a fair trade.
Jay said he was highly upset, and I support my brother Jay. Right, Jay? I'm with you to the end, bro. You're mad, I'm mad. Yeah. Right, Jay?
Yes, I am very upset. Very mad. Sorry, I'm eating a chocolate cake right now. Jesus Christ.
Come on.
Why am I thinking about the pig with the chocolate lips from the Firefly? But it's a fair exchange. I mean, hell, we're using their logos, we're using their sound bites, we're discussing their characters. It's the least that we can do is to have them use our 3 bells, but it would never sound as good as ours. So that's okay. You can use it all you want, but everybody knows that we are the originals.
I think they even added the crowd sound to it too, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's one
All
last
right.
match and the crowd in the background and all that shit.
Well, I have to admit that the 3 bells that you do hear has the WWE logo on it. So, like I said, it's a fair exchange. Speaking of fair, speaking of exchange, let's talk LA Knight, who is number 88 in overall ratings, and Drew, which is number 89 in overall ratings. And then here comes Paul, Mr. Paul, he comes out, and then KO comes out. They all sit in the side and they're talking about this and that, and there's a match going on. I'll just throw it at you guys. That's the start, and then Jay to follow. Your overall thoughts on this match as well as what happened afterwards. Just talk about it. Talk about it.
Say that again, Shane. I'm sorry. My sound went in and out.
I'm sorry. I was asking about your thoughts with the overall match between LA Knight and Drew, including what was going on in the match and after the match. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm happy that they actually did. I mean, look, Drew's been working hard the last few weeks. He's been on every show too, besides NXT. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're making him the second top heel in the company, but Drew's been working, man. He's been working and been putting on some good matches with some good opponents. So I cannot lie about that. I'm not mad at the match that he had tonight with LA Knight. They're still building on him and building him up. After Shane destroyed him last week on SmackDown. Lord have mercy. But it was a good match. Tough match. Anybody who's facing Drew is gonna have a good match, a tough match. It won't be easy. Logan Paul came out. He was sitting at the announce desk, and then KO decided to come out and sit at the announce desk himself. So we knew it was going to be some words between the two of them. They actually hijacked their damn show for a minute, going back and forth. Wade and Corey just disappeared. They wasn't even saying anything, but that was hilarious. And then the match ended in a disqualification because of KO's interference. He started beating up Drew. I didn't mind that. Honestly, I didn't care who would have won because it holds no substance. I mean, yeah, I beat you last night, but you got to come around and beat me again tomorrow. But yeah, so it was cool to see everybody from that match show up. In my head, I was like, well, Randy wasn't at the show last week, so there's no way that he'll be at the show, tonight's show, because he wasn't there last week. And to see everybody hitting their finishes, they sold me. I thought they was ending the show with Bobby Lashley. I was like, yeah, black man, he did what he had to do. He took the guy out, and then boom, he gets hit with the Claymore. And I'm like, damn it, this is exactly how the show should end, with Drew McIntyre doing his little pose, staring into the camera. And then next thing you know, you hear the loudest roar of the night, legitimate fan reaction, no sound pumped in. The fans started going crazy. I'm like, what's that? And the next thing you know, you see Randy just turn Drew over and hit him with an RKO, and that was it. Randy was hyped. I was hyped to see Randy. The fans was hyped to see Randy, because I'm like, damn. So he was there, but he wasn't there. I was like, good. And Shane, the back looked good. It looks good, Shane. And I think he might, hopefully, for his sake, he'll be in the pod till like maybe the 5 or 6 person called out. So we'll see. Jay, what say you, my guy?
Well, Senor Mundo, I was like, the match was all right. I was more waiting for that moment to where we knew, something was gonna happen outside the ring. That's what my anticipation was for the entire time. So when it happened, and we kind of seen what went down, and KO cost him the match, I was like, okay, here we go, the good old classic old school brawl that we normally get before an elimination chamber match. And it was cool to see everybody hit their moves, their specials, and everything. But one thing that what you was just saying now, Des, saying about Randy being either 5 or 6, if you peep what Corey Graves said at the end of that, and he said the 6th entrant, the Viper, Randy Orton, that made me already think that he's the last man coming out to pod tomorrow night. Well, in a couple of hours in the morning. So, it was good to see that happen the way it did. But yeah, I'm anticipating this PLE. So, it's all but fitting probably to see Randy with the good back. We'll sit back and wait his time.
Thanks for clearing that up, because I really was worried about Randy from his last match. He was holding on to his back for quite a while, and I was kind of a bit worried about that to see if that was going to affect him. I mean, even though all he did was the RKO tonight, and he looked good. He looks ready. But let's see if he actually is ready. We'll see you tomorrow, Randy. Good luck to you. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, for next week, it will be Carlito versus Santos. And also, it will be Bebe and Dakota Kai versus the Kabuki Warriors. Now, we don't know if it's tag team champion Kabuki Warriors or non-tag team Kabuki Warriors, but we will know by next week. So I want to go into our news clips. And we have quite a bit of news clips, because these news clips are coming to you courtesy of not only myself, but coming from Triple J and Mundo as well. So let's get to it. So those of you who have been keeping an eye on the WWE 2K24 game, the list of the full roster has finally come out. And it's loaded with superstars, over 200 playable superstars from all of the labels, including Smackdown, Raw, NXT, and numerous legends. However, one name that wasn't on the list was Brock Lesnar. However, because the game is on its last stage of development, they are unable to delete Lesnar's character off of the game. However, they made him a non-playable game. So in various game modes, you will, in fact, see Lesnar. The 2K game is going to launch next on Friday, March 8th. So remember when Triple J announced to us or shared with us that Tiffany Stratton has a boyfriend from Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser? Well, guess what? They went from linking up to shacking up. They are getting their dream apartment very soon. And speaking of couples, Bronson Reed on freshly marrying his longtime high school sweetheart. They're expecting their first child. Congratulations. Let's talk Mania 40 news for a second. Now, there are sources that's within the WWE that are indicating that they are interested in collaborating with Hollywood superstar Sylvester Stallone for WrestleMania 40. Yes, Stallone was born in New York City, However, he has gained fame for playing that famous boxer Rocky. And he's iconic partially because he's from Philly. So it would make sense and it would be fitting for Sly Stallone to do something at WrestleMania 40 while we're in Philly. Now, keep in mind, Sly, he's no stranger to the WWE world. Just don't forget, he did indeed induct Hulk Hogan into the WWE Hall of Fame back in 2005. And this little thing really had me go, oh, snap, I didn't realize that. But fellas, are you aware that this is the first WrestleMania ever without Vince McMahon? Let's talk Anoa'i family news. Lance Anoa'i, who is Samoon's son, and one Juicy Finau, which is no relation. But we're talking about him because they two were once tag team champions for Major League Wrestling, MLW. They are no longer there at MLW, and rumors are circling around that Lance and Juicy may sign to WWE and possibly join the Bloodline. So maybe what Jay was saying earlier may happen. We'll see. And finally, this interesting, and make you go, news. 3-time Daytime Emmy Award winner, Jennifer Peppermint. She was a writer for soaps like As the World Turns and One Life to Live before she joined the WWE in 2017 as a writer and a producer. And her main focus has been with the women's division on Smackdown. And it's been awesome. But as of last week, for some reason, she said, I want to change. I need to make a change. And all of this happened after the speculation that Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, was going to go to another brand at their pay-per-view. Well, how about this week? It was announced that Ms. Jennifer Peppermint has in fact joined AEW as the Vice President of Content Development. The same AEW that Sasha Banks is possibly going to debut. Because, lo and behold, they are good friends. Des and Jay, what are your thoughts on the news? Or is there any news that I possibly have missed?
Well, that last bit of news I definitely did not know about. That's actually kind of shocking, and then puts the nail in my my story that I had, proposed for Bayley for WrestleMania, as far as like the 4 horsewomen saving her. So I guess I'm out of luck with that one. And yeah, this will be interesting. Hey, from the Raw side of the table, here's a special quick segment of Did You Know? Shane and Jay, did you know that Vince McMahon was the one who booked the very unpopular night 2 of WrestleMania 39 last year? Did you know that, Shane? Did you know that, Jay?
No. Do you know why he did that?
And this is the first time I'm hearing about it, so I did not know that. This is news to me.
Yeah, it was his, he had just forced his way back into the WWE, and he took over, because he didn't want to be there and not be in creative. So he used his powers to take over the second night of WrestleMania, which was the lackluster half of WrestleMania last year. Remember, night 1 was amazing, beautiful show, and night 2 is just like, we all felt the same way, but we didn't have the 3 bells then. But talking to the both of you at that time separately, we both, we all felt the same way about night 2. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there for y'all as an add-on to what Shane said. So back to you, Jay. What's your reaction to tonight's news?
Wow. Well, I love the news that you came out with, and I didn't know that Bronson Reed's, soon to be's baby mama was his childhood sweetheart. I didn't know that part. And kudos to them. And I the news I will have to report, if anything, that you may have missed or not known was the other night, well, last night while we was asleep, Matt Riddle won the TV title in New Japan. And as of the past 20 minutes, former WWE wrestler Mr. Mustafa Ali just won, let's see, he just won the TNA X Division title. So kudos to those former guys, on successful transitions out of the company. Much
Jay,
success to both of them.
to add to that, Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler, also won a championship this week as well in the company that he's in. So it's kind of odd that all these former WWE talents that were recently released are now champions in the respective companies that they're in now. Amazing.
Right. That's definitely truth.
But all in all, Shane, thank you for your news, dude. Like, I love it. I love Fridays, man.
Well, thank you guys for your input as well. But you know what's interesting about those wins? They coming into those circuits as big names thanks to the WWE. So don't badmouth the WWE, fellas, because it's because of them that you're so popular. And it's because of them that you're now top tiers, that now you are main eventers, and now that you're champions at your prospective circuits. So shout out once again to the WWE for doing their thing long term. Long term. And speaking of congratulations, and speaking of celebrations, you know what we got to do now? We got to get birthday shout outs. We're going to say happy birthday to everybody that's celebrating a birthday this week. If you're celebrating a birthday, we'd like to say happy birthday. For you're also celebrating with Ricardo Rodriguez. Remember, he used to be an announcer for Alberto Del Rio. He turns 38 years old. And remember the little guy, El Torito, or Spanish for the little bull, the little luchador with the bull horns? He turns 42. And big guy, Brodus Clay, the guy that we all say Bronson Reed reminds us of, aka Tyrus. He turns 51. And the guy that we're going to see fight next week, hopefully with an apple, Carlito. He celebrates his birthday. He's turned 45. And you know this guy, he is partying hardy at Perth. Corey Graves. He celebrates his birthday, 39 years old. And it's Mr. Anime himself, Shinsuke Nakamura. He celebrates 43. And on a personal note, I would like to give a big 3-bell shout out and birthday. Happy birthday to our guy, Mundo, a.k.a. Mr. a.k.a. Des Mom. She celebrates her birthday. We like to say happy birthday to you, gorgeous. We hope you are having an awesome time and celebrate your birthday to the fullest. Happy birthday to all of our superstars, as well as the superstars in your hearts. Fellas, are there any birthday shout outs that you would like to give as well? Des and then Jay to follow?
Wow. First off, Shane, thank you so much for that, man. I'll definitely, when she comes back from her cruise, I'll definitely play this back for her so she can hear that you shouted out. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you, and thank you again, man. Wow. That was beautiful.
You're very welcome. Any shout outs, Jay?
Nobody that I know, but you know, kudos to your mother and happy birthday, Des. I like to send it that way to her as well. She's the 3 Bells mama of the podcast, so you know, have fun on that cruise, live it up, and continue being you.
Happy birthday, mama. All right. Again, we are celebrating the Elimination Chamber. So what I want to do now is I want to talk about your Elimination Chamber winner's circle. Des, I'm going to start with you and then Jay to follow. For we all know the schedule for tomorrow. And ironically, this new match came about with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. It's the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, if I'm saying that right, Kairi Sane versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. This was literally like first announced yesterday, which I find to be absolutely amazing for a PLE. But fellas, Des and Jay to start, we all know who is in what. So I would like to hear your winner's circle, your picks for the winners for tomorrow.
In an awesome twist to the story, I can see Bailey and Dakota somehow interfering or costing Damage Control the tag team titles to just spice up the story a little bit more. That would be something cool for me to see. I've been struggling with this all day. I'm still like, bro. Let's see. The women's Elimination Chamber match, which is reportedly supposed to start off the entire show. I still don't. All right, I got to make a decision. On this one,
or at least give us like 2. If you're not sure about one, maybe you have like 2 possibles.
I'm gonna just.
Like, would that be easier?
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Shane, by chance, do you have the matches in front of you?
I sure do. We're asking for the women's.
Yeah. So yeah, just give it to me every time I call out for a match. So for the women's, I'm gonna go ahead and Even though I don't want it to happen, I think it would be some bullshit if it happens. I would say Becky Lynch wins the match for the women's, but my runner-up to win the match in a shocking win would be Tiffany Stratton. So Becky Lynch number one for me, but as a de facto number one would be Tiffany Stratton. Is that's cool?
Interesting call. That's interesting.
Right. What's the next match that you got?
We have the undisputed tag team champions, Judgment Day versus Pete and Tyler.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Judgment Day on this one. I'm gonna just pick Damian and Finn, but it's gonna be a hell of a match. It's not gonna be a squash match like they thought it would be. So I'm gonna go with Judgment Day on that one.
Okay. We have the men's Elimination Chamber, Drew, Randy, Bobby, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul and Kevin Owens are gonna cancel each other out. I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre on this one. Drew's gonna, it's the only story that's involving the actual champion that we've seen out of everybody in the match. So yeah, it's gonna be Drew. Drew's gonna win it for me. I feel like somehow, some way, AJ Styles is gonna find his way into fucking causing LA Knight the match, which would continue their story going towards WrestleMania. So Drew McIntyre for the men's Elimination Chamber match.
And finally, the women's world championship, Rhea versus Nia Jax.
Ooh. Jay's not gonna like this, but I'm gonna go with Mommy. It'll be a hell of a match. I think it'll be one of the best performances that we get from Nia Jax. Though I think it would also go against everything that she's been doing for the last few months since she came back. But it's more marquee for the WWE for WrestleMania to have Rhea Ripley as champion going into WrestleMania, especially if she's going to go against Becky Lynch. So Rhea Ripley's going to win that match to close out the show in a celebratory way for Australia. Those are my picks.
Awesome picks. Jay Boogie, what's good? Where's your picks?
Okay, if we're going with the pre-show match with the Kabuki Warriors and Candice LeRae with Indy, I got one of two ways what I'm thinking about with that match because I really feel since, like I said earlier, Dakota Kai being half Australian, I could see her interfering tomorrow in the match and trying to cost them the belts. So on that, I'm gonna go out and say Kabuki Warriors retain and carry these titles till Mania. And the women's match, I literally threw my pen and paper on the floor once Des said what he said because that was my answer for that one. I literally, I got it the same way. I got Becky to win, but Tiffany's gonna be a close second because of all the hype that she's getting right now, and just them showing her on the presser yesterday. That little press conference yesterday gives me the idea that she's gonna be one of the final two or final three competitors in that chamber tomorrow. And with the tag titles for the men, I think we're being crowned new champions. I think it's time for some new champions to put some titles around their waist. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate gonna win the belts. That's my prediction on that. And then on the men's side of things, with the Elimination Chamber, I for sure see Drew winning this, and a close second, in my opinion, will be Bobby Lashley based off what we saw today on SmackDown. And Des, you don't gotta be sorry on picking Mommy because I was leaning towards the same way on picking Mommy just because of the momentum and being at her hometown, that they're not going to really try to crush her dream. But if they did crush her dream, like I said, Nia will possibly be the most hated female in all of wrestling if she becomes somehow the winner of that match. But the reason why I do see Nia losing is because I feel that's when Jade Cargill makes her first move as to who she's going after on the roster. I feel she's coming after Nia.
Well, first and foremost, we have to figure out what label Jay is under. is Jay signed under any label, SmackDown or Raw? I mean, she's still free,
She's
yes? Like
she's right. She's still a free agent, but just the fact, like, I was coming out with this thought, like, everybody we've seen from NXT come to the main brand has been mainly SmackDown first, and Jade has already been a supposed main roster player for the females in the other brands. So I feel they're saving Jade for the main roster, the bigger thing, which would be Raw, because it's the money show, and Jade wears green a lot. So I wouldn't be too surprised if tomorrow is the money shot for her.
well, she's supposedly not in the show tomorrow, so I don't like. I personally am like at this point lost. Like I don't know. I have no idea what they're gonna do with this lady. Like something should have been done a long time ago. I mean, hell, you have Tiffany. She signed on to SmackDown. You have Breaker, who had his match tonight. He signed, and yet she still just like pops up every once in a while, unsigned. What are you doing? Like, I'm anxious to see. Like, I want to see her like perform. Is she all this hype? Is she all of this fireworks coming from AEW? I mean, hell, even CM Punk has had a match. We've seen him fight. What I don't understand, like what is it that they're trying to do with her? And like I said, the more they building her up, the higher expectations we're gonna have from her. You know how difficult that is to impress people with such high expectations? Because you should have done something a long time ago to go, okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, that's cool. She can do this and she can do that. So we have an idea as to who she is, what she can bring, because she's not bringing fully AEW. You got to add some WWE into the mix also to fit into the WWE culture. I have no idea what she can like do in the ring. Yeah, you can lift up Nia Jackson, throw her ass over the rope, and you can eliminate other women as well. But keep in mind, you got eliminated also. I just want to know what is it WWE that you want to do with this woman, because if you wait too long, that soda is going to go very flat. And Jay, we all know what we do with flat Pepsi soda.
Shane.
Yes, Daz.
All right. So we all wanted to see Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania, correct? Guys, yes?
That seems to be the most popular vote around the internet.
Right. So why give us what we want so fast? I'm seeing a pivot from that, where I see what Jay's talking about with the whole situation, because I'm looking at it as if we remember back to Royal Rumble, Jade eliminated people in an order, and maybe that same order that she eliminated people is the way that she's going about who she wants to compete against. The first person she eliminated was Nia Jax. The next person she eliminated, if I'm not mistaken, Jay, you remember, was it Becky Lynch that she eliminated after that?
Um, Damn, I gotta check my papers because I got a lot of that shit written down, and I already got it right here in front of me. So she eliminated Naya, Becky, Naomi.
Okay, so yes, that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, I think that she'll go after Nia first, Becky Lynch next, maybe Naomi, or they'll have some type of feud. You know, you want to lead it into the whole Bianca Belair situation, and again, now this also ties into what I said earlier. I think they pivoted, and now all of a sudden now there's some type of feud that's brewing up between Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton. You know, so yeah, let's look out for that. Shane. So you know you don't have to ask too many questions because they might just be like, this is what's next right here. When you want to see Jade versus Nia,
I mean, I want to see Jade with somebody, not a jobber. Please don't put her against no goddamn jobber. We had enough of those.
and what I forgot
But
to mention in that too.
yes,
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Shane. But if we remember back to SmackDown last week, or was it last week or the week before, she was with Braun and they were about to sign their contracts with SmackDown, but she was interrupted by Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. And if we remember, Liv Morgan was a part of the final three of the Women's Royal Rumble, and Liv, it was either Liv or Bailey that eliminated Jade, if I'm not mistaken. Jay, who eliminated Jade? I think it was Liv Morgan, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty
Jay.
much. Pretty much it was. It was.
Right.
So
Yeah. So
Jade has a reason to appear tomorrow. That's my whole thing. All three of them are there.
right. And I think, and remember, Liv is a Raw superstar. Nia is a Raw superstar. But when you get into WrestleMania season, the lines can get blurred as well. And then, not to mention, after WrestleMania, we usually have the draft where lineups and stuff get switched around. So, I think that they're strategically taking their time so they can match up the right people with Jade on the same show. Because they, besides the most recent weeks or so, they've been very, very keen on keeping certain superstars on certain shows at all times. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting, Shane.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm waiting. But before I continue, I want to quickly fast play this message. I'm so sorry that I left this message on hold so long. This is from Captain Planet. Captain.
What it do, Three Bells? How y'all gentlemen doing tonight? Sorry I'm a little late, but what it do? I'm her. Better late than never.
Better late than never. That's right. It's good to have you here. It was good to see you, man. Thanks for leaving that message. It's always good to hear from you and see your face here at the Three Bells. So my picks for Elimination Chamber, I'm going to do this quick fast. For the men's Elimi, I would say Drew, followed very closely by Randy. For the women's Elimi, I want to say because she is aiming to be Miss Mania, I want to say Bianca Belair, followed by, believe it or not, Tiffany Stratton. I really see a lot going on with her. They could do so much with her because she fits so perfectly. In terms of the men's tag team, I'm sticking with Judgment Day. Something is going to happen, and they are going to retain. For the women's tag team, which was literally just thrown at us, I'm going to say the Kabuki Warriors are going to be your champions. In terms of the women's champion, Rhea versus Nia. All right. We know that Nia Jax. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Nia Jax can beat Rhea. However, based on the storylines and based on the fact that she is home, it has to go to Rhea. I don't see Rhea losing at home. She hasn't been home in 7 years. And the 7 years ago, she wasn't even a WWE superstar. She was with another circuit. So now that she is like at the peak of her career, she has to win at home. But we will see, and we will have this discussion in full detail tomorrow. I have one last question for you guys before we leave out tonight, because we had an awesome SmackDown episode tonight. We do agree. Much, much better than the Raw episode. Raw should look into SmackDown in terms of their future broadcasts. Let's have less commercials, or at least line it up so that we can see more fighting and we can understand and enjoy the matches more. Started with Dez and Jay to follow. The Three Bells match of the night. What is your Dez? And then Jay to follow.
Of course, we're going to shade my show before we ask this question and come to me first. But you know what? I'm going to shade my show too, because this past Monday Night Raw, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. And I was able to insert new segments to my show because of that, because we had so much time to talk about other stuff. My match of the night tonight would go to Shane. You got a drum roll? I doubt it.
No, just the Three Bells once you announce your match.
I got you. I'll say my match of the night will go to Dom and JD versus Tyler and Pete. I was very impressed with all four competitors tonight, and that's my match of the night for SmackDown.
Well, I'm gonna go out there
No.
and
No. Because you clearly have listening problems, Jay. He said after I announced my pick of the night, I would get 3 bells. You interrupted that. So can I get my 3 bells, please? Please? Jesus.
Hey, man, he got to have his bell. Just like Christopher Walker's, I got to have my cowbells. Got to have my bells.
If it ain't a night, we don't have a Destaker out there. But
no.
I'm talking now. You had your moment. You had your moment. You had your moment, Taker.
And
yes.
the man He said what he said, and you disregarded what he said. So it's not about Destaker. Listen to what the host says and follow what the host said.
Host schmooshed. But
Damn,
anyways,
shade to shame.
no shade to Shane because me and Shane have a love-hate friendship. This is how it is between us.
Man, don't
But
make me horn you. Make me horn you up in here.
yeah. Sound like I'm at a freestyle battle rap now, getting all of that play like that. Cool.
Snowballs at Jay. I'm about to throw
I won't.
snowballs.
I won't be able to see it on my end, like I told you. So you could do whatever you want to do and just laugh about it. But yeah, my match of the night, I'm gonna give it to Tiffy Time and Liv Morgan tonight. The females came out and showed out tonight. Their match was much more cleaner than what we got from their first matchups that they had last week on their other respective shows. I liked how Tiffy did her moves much cleaner. Liv had her moves, and she was, like I said, that flip, whatever thingy she did was cool. Kudos to women's wrestling because it's on the rise. It's something I'm looking forward to more from the women, and since they're leading off tomorrow's show, I hope they have match of the night tomorrow night as well.
With that being said, Shane, real quick, did you guys notice that we didn't get
Whoa,
the
whoa. How come you get 3 bells and I don't? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're
Oh
welcome.
man, he's crying. But I wanted to, well, yeah, whatever. I wanted to say, did you guys notice that after that botched, perfect moonsault last week, did you notice that she didn't get a chance to do that tonight?
Well, she attempted to do it, but Liv moved out of the way. She attempted it though.
Yeah, but the match didn't end with that. They was like, nigga, you ain't gonna hurt nobody this week. You gonna go ahead and win the match with a roll up.
I mean, hey, a win is a win, and it was a very impressive performance by her. By both of them, actually. Both were very impressive. But I'm going to go against the grain here, and I am going to say that my 3-bell match of the night was the Street Profits and AOP, because this was a damn good match, especially from Angelo. He really, really did his thing tonight. Going against these guys that was like they almost look like the same size. There was a lot of how Big E would say, there was a lot of meat going on. There was a lot of meat in that match, a lot of meat in that ring. So I would say that was my match because that was the match that I was waiting for. I was waiting for them to finally fight it. We finally got a fight. And in my opinion, the table may not agree, but in my opinion, it was good enough for me to give them their 3 bells. That's our show for tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it. I hope my guys enjoyed it. Any last words before we close out for tonight? Jay, start with you, and then that's the follow.
In closing tonight, all I gotta say is, I appreciate all our listeners. Blessed to everybody. That's from the beginning to the end, and just showing us straight up love. We show it back and appreciate y'all all. And at the same time, we do have a show tomorrow night coming. It's the Elimination Chamber show. Everybody that's staying up to watch, have fun. All of those that are staying on and gonna watch the late night show, let's get it. Let's have fun. See y'all tomorrow. Yeet.
Des, any last words?
And big muscles. Bumping meat. That's why I'm here. That's why I watched wrestling as a kid. You want your 5-star matches? You want your 30-minute classics?
Oh, brother.
Big meaty man slapping me.
Okay, Des. All right.
You said it first, Shane. Nah, but
Yo, that's wild, dude. You
I asked
wild
for it.
one.
I asked for it. Yeah, I asked for it. That's
big meaty man slapping me. No, but on the real, I enjoyed tonight with you guys as I always do. Thank you so much, WWE, for not giving us a show full of commercials on SmackDown. Thank you to everyone that listened in tonight. Cap, I'll see you. We'll see you either tomorrow or on Monday Night Raw. Shout out to my bestie, Fizzle. Thanks for always listening in. Drew, my guy, thank you, my brother. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back at work. Donatella, my girl, love you. Jimbo Fly, Princess Warrior. And of course, my guys, Triple J. Thank y'all for having me. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for Elimination Chamber. Shane, to you.
Triple J, Mundo, aka Mr. AKA, and Dez. Thank you guys so much for being at the table today, and thank all of you for joining us today at this special Elimination Chambers Eve edition of the Three Bells. We hope you join us tomorrow, for we are going to have the Elimination Chamber recap show at 10:30. Why at 10:30? Because we're trying to all be under one accord in terms of watching the show and putting our notes together. And this is the soonest that we can all link up. So we will see you hopefully tomorrow at 10:30. And then don't forget Monday Night Raw, hosted by yours truly, Mr. Des, Mr. Mundo, Mr. AKA. That's our Raw recap show at 11:15 p.m. And then Cool Man Triple J, he has his NXT show on Tuesday, every Tuesday at 10:15. And in case you want to catch us on YouTube, you can do that. We do have a YouTube page. It's titled The Three Bells Podcast. It's me, your homie, Shane O'Mac, coming to you live from the East New York part of the Three Bells table, saying good fight, good night. See you tomorrow.
The doorways.
Yeet.
No.